Hi, this is Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis. It's October 11th in the afternoon of a fairly warm autumn day. We are on the dry side of a hurricane that came through Louisiana a day or two ago, so we get the hot, dry air, which means our temperatures might get up to close to 100 degrees today, which is a little odd, but you know, it's Texas. It is what it is. Last week I talked to you a little bit about some of my problem Cattleyas. And the point of that discussion was not really so much about how saying, hey, I have this problem and I need to solve it this way. That was more about sort of thinking outside the box and doing more of a holistic approach to figure out what's really going wrong with your orchids, your Cattleyas specifically. Today, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to show you some success stories. I want to show you some of the plants that have been growing really well for me, and I'll briefly summarize what I do. I've got a lot of videos showing and talking about how I grow some of these Cattleyas, but actually before I show you the plants, I'll just talk to you about how I grow. In the summertime here it's exceptionally hot. It can be 105 degrees for months on end during the day, so my plants have to be able to take those kinds of temperatures. So I purchase plants that are comfortable with those temperatures, and that's typically Cattleyas, most of the Cattleyas and Catasetums, and you can see my Catasetum collection behind me, and a bunch of my Cattleyas as well. I use clay pots, and you'll see that. You can probably see right there, those are a bunch of Cattleyas. There's a Cymbidium hanging from a tree. I got some more stuff over here. In fact, I will take you over to show you that giant Amethyst Aglossa right there. And that's really the only plastic pot I have. But most of them are in clay pots with very large walkeriana bark. I use time-release fertilizer for the most part. I recently did a video a few weeks ago about how I fertilize, and if that's something you're interested in, I really encourage you to check that out. And bright. It's really bright, really bright. So it's about 1:30 and the sun is over there. But you can see behind me, I've got maybe 50% shade. And then as the sun goes over the oak trees, there's big patches where these guys are getting blasted with 100% sun, most of the morning and then on and off throughout the day. So even if it's 100 degrees, they're still getting a ton of light. And at night, typically the humidity comes back up. So our humidity in the summertime is about 20% during the day, and then it bounces back up to 80 to 90% in the evening, which is really good actually. What's another cultural condition that I have to deal with? I'll move all of these guys into the greenhouse in winter. I don't like to let my greenhouse get below 40. I really don't like to get it below 50, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes it even gets down to close to freezing. So on those really cold nights, I will make sure that my plants are dry. I haven't watered them, and so I'm watching the weather all the time to figure out upcoming weather patterns and to see how cold it is or hot it is going to be during the summer. So for watering, if the temperatures are above 95 during the day, I'll water every single day. If it's between 85 and 95, I'll water every other day. And if it's below 85, I'll water a couple times a week. And then if temperatures are consistently lower than that, maybe it's only once a week or every other week in the wintertime, especially in cold weather. These plants all around me can handle temperatures down close to freezing if their roots are dry. And that includes your plants as well. So that's a real quick recap of my general growing conditions. And like I said, I've got lots of videos showing some of those. I recently did a video about sunlight and chasing the sun. I did a video about fertilizing, problem solving. So there's a lot of cultural stuff that I've done, so you can check those out as well. But anyway, now onto the plants. So all of the plants I think that I'm going to show you today, I grew from seedlings, and now they're monsters. So first of all, I'm going to talk about I want to talk about this Laelia purpurata. This is a Carnea variety of purpurata, so it's got these, it's got sort of a really nice pink lip, and then the rest of the flower is this gleaming white that sort of sparkles in the sun. It's really good, and it's one of my favorite scented orchids. It kind of smells like Fruit Loops to my nose, and the flowers last for 3 weeks. But I got this one from Olon Poly Orchids. The owner is Sergio Garcia, who recently came through Texas, so I was able to get another batch of great plants from him. But here it is. You know, this is one that I'm very proud of. You know, these, you can see these old back bulbs. I think I got this, I think I got this in 2013 as a small seedling. So it would have been just these little bulbs back here and even smaller. But you can see it's consistently gotten bigger until you get, you know, these monstrous bulbs. The plant itself is pretty tall. It's sitting on my lap. I would say it's a good, you know, it's longer than my forearm. And so if you're growing Cattleya purpurata, this is your goal. All right, massive, fat, thick bulbs that are, you know, fist size. Here's another one that's pretty big, and this is what your new growth should look like. Huge, big, thick, nice and purple. That means it's getting lots of good light. I've got roots starting in here, and you can see that this root system, you can kind of see this root system's massive. This is a heavy pot. This is a really heavy pot. I've got another growth here, and you can see there's actually 2 leaves on it. So when your unifoliates are putting out 2 leaves, they are exceptionally happy. It's more common in smaller, younger plants, but it does happen on exceptionally happy unifoliate adults. And again, clay pot, lots of aeration. I water these guys every day in very hot weather, and less in cooler weather. Large grade orchiata bark. Time release fertilizer. I've got NutriCode in here. I also have the purely organic stuff that I've made a few videos about. And yeah, so this is a good plant. This is one that I'm really happy with. Again, Olon Poly Orchids, Sergio Garcia. He does some really great breeding. He gets his stock from Brazil. He is Brazilian, and he's good family friends with some of the best Brazilian breeders in the world. So he's got some good stuff, and I'm super excited to see this one bloom again in the spring. Another one that I've got is, this is Cattleya Amethyst Aglossa. And I just realized that I got this one also from Olon Poly Orchids. I forgot about that. So I've got a couple of his plants. So this is another one that I got as a seedling. This is a Palha variety, or a pale variety. I probably butchered that Portuguese word. My apologies to anyone who knows that language better than I do. But this is the diploid. So this is the 2N variety. Again, you can see how tall it is. This is the smaller of my Amethyst Aglossas. The Polyploid variety is right in that black pot, and we'll walk over and take a look at it. I'm not going to carry that thing around. It's stupid heavy. In fact, I made a video about this one, the spring blooming, next to that one, to kind of compare and contrast what the different ones look like. But again, you know, clay pot, time release. You can see roots are starting there, and some are here. Some are growing, some have aborted when they're young. But overall, I'm very happy with this plant. You know, when I put this guy down, actually, I noticed, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but check this out. So this is wiggling. You see how the bulb here is wiggling? That's not good. That's how the roots die. So what'll happen is the roots will start to go down into the media, and then a wind comes and kind of wiggles it, and the root tips die. So what I'm gonna do after this video is you can see I've got stakes here to prevent some of the wiggling. Sometimes it doesn't work really well. So I am forced to use zip ties to really cinch it down and get this. I'll do that again here, and to get these new growths, or these newly matured growths, cinched down really tightly to the media so that those roots can go in and really envelop the whole entirety of the pot. So making this video has already proven useful to me, because now I know that I need to redo some of the roots. I want to show you a few more plants really quickly. It looks like I'm at about 10 minutes. I don't like my videos to go longer than 10 or 15 minutes. Let's go over to this giant Amethyst Aglossa behind me, and then we'll check out some of my nobiliors. All right, we're gonna walk over to this Polyploid Amethyst Aglossa, and you can see how large it is, how large this pot is. I actually divided this one earlier in the year, and I sold a big division off, but it's already put out 1, 2, 3 new growths since then. I think I cut it up in June. And you can see it's growing in a plastic pot. This is really one of the very few Cattleyas that I have growing in a plastic pot. But this is for water lilies. So if you can see under here, there's holes all around the edges here. So it's fairly porous. On the inside, I remember actually using some really big chunks of stuff in here, but even then, you know, I'm sticking my fingers in here, and it does feel like there's a little bit of sediment building up. So I might have to unpot this at some point and redo it, or just divide it up and sell a piece. Who knows? But in any case, you can see that this is a monstrous thing that's doing really well. This is from H&R Nurseries. This comes from Roy Tokunaga's Polyploid breeding. So he'll take a 2N, cross it with a 3N, a 4N, and create a 2N. Beautiful flowers, sort of standard looking Cattleya Amethyst Aglossa looking flowers. So really, really bright, creamy white, and then lots of pink spots. This is where my other Amethyst Aglossa came from, right here. So I'll tuck that one back in there and lock these all together after this video. And I made a video about my some of my nobiliors a couple weeks ago, so I'm not going to get too detailed into that. But in order to see them, I had to move this walkeriana out of the way, and you can see it's a giant bush. I gave a piece of this to my buddy William Green over there, My Green Pets, and I keep giving pieces away because it's too big for me. I don't need anything that big. But I do want to show some of the success stories of the nobiliors. You can see how large these bulbs should be. And I can see a new growth coming here. That's probably a new spike, which will bloom in maybe January, which you can see the roots growing down the side here. Another big fat bulb. This plant is growing in 2 directions. This one grows from here to here and is growing from out there over there in opposite directions. And I grow these brighter than my other Cattleyas. These guys get more sun throughout the day, and they just thrive in it. You can see this is another nobilior that I've let grow into this extra pot here, and you can see how big the bulbs are compared to my thumb. Slowly move up here, and these leaves are I mean, they're hard. They feel like plastic. So your nobiliors should not be shriveled. They should not have small bulbs if they're a large plant. This is what you're aiming for, that or these somewhat smaller bulbs right here. So I'll put my thumb here and you can kind of see the difference, or the size comparison in the leaves. Again, lots of sun, lots and lots of sun. I'll back out slowly and you can kind of see my collection of the larger adults. And again, there's walkeriana, and that's a lobata that I got earlier this year, growing in pretty much full sun for a lot of the day. They really like that. And a quick zoom around. Here's some of my adult Cattleyas, some younger ones, and a few late growing Catasetums. And that's a lot of my collection. And these are the two that I just showed you right now. Amethyst Aglossa, purpurata, and then some more over there. My Catasetum collection, and a bunch more of my Cattleyas over there. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Gives you a guide of what you should be aiming for with some of your Cattleyas. And if you agree, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and I will see you guys next weekend. Bye.